So there's 1,000 videos online doing the clickbaity thing saying click in here and you can see the video of Colby getting sucker punched. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to come at it from a different perspective. As we all know, Jorge Masvidal, the bitch, attacked Colby from behind, hood up, mask on the other night, surrounded by 5 of his boys. We also know that no less than 3 weeks ago, he was in the octagon for 25 minutes where he could have done anything he wanted and did fuck all. Did absolutely nothing. Got demolished for 25 minutes straight. Ran his mouth, thought he could get the emotions of Colby Covington up, and got the shit beat out of him. And rightly so. I really like Jorge Masvidal. The flying knee against Askren. He's always been a bit of a dog fighter type of guy. Really like the fight against Diaz. You know, he won the BMF title. He's a bitch now, so that title has gone out the window. Since then, he's been on the decline. What I want to talk about is how the culture war, how progressives and conservatives have started to etch their way into the UFC and MMA in general. And we've seen the results of that in the last few weeks, especially with Colby Covington. Why Colby Covington didn't get the praise that every other UFC fighter gets for their wrestling skills and absolute and utter domination of another fighter, especially someone like Jorge Masvidal, who's a very big draw in the UFC and is probably the second highest paid fighter there after Conor McGregor. And the question has to be asked, why is it that Colby doesn't get the attention, doesn't get the plaudits, doesn't get the credence that every other fighter gets? Is it because of his politics? Well, I've seen that debunked as well, where people say, well, Jorge Masvidal is a Trump supporter and Gaethje is apparently a Trump supporter. Dana's done a great job from the beginning with the UFC, and especially in recent times with the Joe Rogan debacle, when people wanted Joe Rogan cancelled and Dana was just like having none of it. And it's great to see that Dana is just about there, but I do think he's starting to bend the knee slightly. And bear with me as I try to explain it. We know that the MMA community, the reporters, the media, and especially the ex-fighters who now do punditry on YouTube, have all started to shill for mainstream ideas. All you have to do is look in the aftermath of the Colby Covington fight, and that will be perfectly evident. Michael Bisping said in an interview directly after the fight that it was a very boring fight. Now, I don't know what he was watching, but for me, it was a heated battle between two guys who apparently were best friends and now are mortal enemies. They went at it after a bunch of shit talk, and Jorge Masvidal got this shit beat out of him. So that's what I watched. I watched complete and utter dominance. I watched complete and utter skill sets that were levels above where Masvidal is, if not levels above or maybe just on the same level as Kamaru Usman, who gets so much plaudits. When he fought Jorge Masvidal in the first fight and pretty much did the exact same thing but not as dominant on the ground, he pretty much manhandled Masvidal for the entire 5 rounds. It went to the decision, and all of a sudden we were talking about the best pound for pound fighter in the world. He dominated Jorge Masvidal. Second fight, starched him with a right hand from hell, sparked him out. Masvidal is on the ground, shaking out, waking up, doesn't know where he is. Okay, that's fine. Kamaru Usman gets all the plaudits for that. Have you ever heard the media get so hyped up as they did after Kamaru Usman dominated Tyron Woodley for 5 rounds and won the title? Colby did it and nothing was said about it. It was said that Woodley was an aging fighter. Kamaru Usman did the exact same thing against Masvidal. He's like the best wrestler in the world. We have DC slobbering and falling all over himself about how his boy is so powerful, how no one comes near his boy. You are crazy if you don't think that there's a cultural, racial, political angle that these pundits are coming out backing the likes of a Kamaru Usman over the likes of an American flag wielding Colby Covington. And in the aftermath of the annihilation of Masvidal by Colby Covington, I went looking for all the pundits and zero. Let me think about it. Yeah, no, I can't think of anyone that gave him any bit of real credence for what he had done, for the domination. The pressure on that fight must have been insane. Colby went in there, performed like a professional, and dominated. And when you look at all the MMA media outlets, ESPN, BT Sports, Full Mount MMA, UFC official sites, every single one of them were leading with this picture of Masvidal landing a big right hand in the 3rd round or the 4th round. I'm not sure which round. Everyone was talking about how Masvidal rocked him and why didn't he finish him. And for me, I watched the fight like everyone else. He landed an absolute haymaker of a right hand right on the jaw, twisted him upside down. Colby responded to that by dropping to his knee for half a millisecond, getting back up, winking, waving him on and saying, "Let's go." That's what I saw. So I went to Chael Sonnen, who professes that he's Colby's friend and he's known him since he's 11 years old. So I'm like, okay, Chael is a wrestler. He's going to come out here. He's going to do a brilliant breakdown and he's going to talk up his boy. And rightly so. He went the complete opposite way. He spoke about, I don't know where Colby can go from here, but I do know that Jorge Masvidal, just because he's lost 3 in a row, that doesn't mean he's lost his star. I think that he should go for a big Conor fight. What? Am I actually the only person that's seeing this? Am I the only person that's seen that Masvidal has lost 3 in a row, absolutely dominated for 10 rounds out of them 3 fights, and the other one starched unconscious? And you're talking about him getting this massive money fight with Conor McGregor, and Colby can fuck off because there's nothing for him to do? Come on. From Chael Sonnen? You're supposed to be Colby's friend. And then you made the outlandish statement that when Masvidal landed the right hand on Colby, that it was akin to Nate Diaz rocking Leon Edwards at the end of the 5th round. That is outlandish, man. When Diaz hit Leon Edwards, he rattled and did the chicken dance for 5 minutes, didn't know where he was. And it was Nathan's fault that he didn't follow up and finish the fight there. Nothing like that happened in the Colby fight. He got hit with a great right hand, it rocked him for a millisecond, then he winked and kept coming forward. Get your fucking facts straight, bro. What the fuck were you watching? What is this bias against Colby Covington? Josh Thompson, Big John McCarthy podcast, sneering at Colby Covington, laughing at the idea of him punching with Jorge Masvidal. He outpunched him in every round. They were laughing at the idea that Colby was trying to stay on the feet and throw punches. He destroyed him on the feet as well. So I was like, oh my God. So there was Josh Thompson, Chael Sonnen, Michael Bisping calling the fight boring, and across the board, nothing. Radio silence. And then in the after-match press conference, you have Dana White. He gets asked about Colby Covington.
So what do you think about Colby?
What do you mean? What do I think about? I mean, I don't know if I've had any bad words to say about him. I said he's an asshole.
And he responds with, yeah, he's an asshole. I'll give the kid this, he's a good fighter, but yeah, he's an asshole. You jump all over YouTube and you look at the likes of a Brendan Schwab or a Joe Rogan, Chael Sonnen, Ben Askren. All these guys are talking about how Masvidal's star hasn't dimmed and that he should be going for these big money fights. Then you have these rumors about Colby's contract being absolutely shit and he's getting hardly any money to fight, like half of what Masvidal is getting, and we don't know where to go with him. He calls out Dustin Poirier. People are laughing at it, going, pick on someone your own size. Dustin Poirier walks around at like 180, 190. Colby walks around at 170, and they're calling him a bully because he wants to fight him, because this guy was talking shit as well. And across the board, the majority of MMA fighters, UFC fighters dislike Colby, and you can be fucking guaranteed that it is 100% connected to the fact that we have been embroiled in a culture war since 2015. And if you hate Trump, you are going to get a pass from the media. But if you support Trump, then you're evil and you must be taken down. That's what it looks like to me. Slowly but surely, the UFC is starting to lean to the left. They're starting to transform into a very progressive sports company. We talk about misinformation and disinformation. Well, the MMA media are guilty of the exact same thing when it comes to Colby. When it comes to someone who pushes against the narrative that the media and the progressives love. That's the case here, 100%. Colby Covington supports the police and the emergency responders. The media don't like that. The media have been coerced and brainwashed into thinking that these people are evil. There's a pattern to be seen here. Now we're getting to the fact that Jorge Masvidal decided to pull the bitchiest move and attack someone from behind with a mask and his hood up. So we have to ask ourselves, what initiated this idea? Are we going to go with the fake news narrative that it was because he spoke about someone's kids, which he didn't? Or are we going to go on the fact that this Monday, the day of the incident, a viral post went all across Instagram of Masvidal walking back to the dressing room after getting his ass handed to him by Colby. He looked extremely dejected and looked like he was about to start bursting out crying. He was greeted by his father's open arms, who gave him a big loving hug and said, "That fucker referring to Colby, only wanted to wrestle. It's okay, son. Then he sat down deflated onto the bench and it looked like he was going to start crying. He looked like a 6-year-old who'd just fallen off his bike and was being reassured by his father that everything was going to be okay. So that went viral on Monday. Ironically or coincidentally, Kamaru Usman put out a post doing his Monday motivational thing, and it was a picture of him sparking Masvidal unconscious, out cold. And I thought it was a great post. Is this what triggered Masvidal? Monday motivation for Masvidal was him bawling, crying into his father's arms because he got his ass kicked? So is that what like triggered him? Then he saw this Instagram post from these lads that were out drinking with Colby and he was like, okay, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go be this awesome father figure. Watch, kids. Watch me put on a mask and a hood and I go out and attack someone. This is going to be really good. Is that where the idea came from? That's embarrassing. Why is he not being called out for that? Now we get to Monday night's events where Jorge Masvidal decides to pull the bitchiest move you've ever seen. Stick on the hood, stick on the mask, then run up behind someone with 5 of your buddies and give him a few lashes into the face. And then you go online and you brag about it, show your face. Dude, you're an embarrassment. You're a 37, 38-year-old man with kids at home. Go home and look after your kids. Colby didn't even say anything about your kids. He said that you were a shit father and you proved it by going out on a weeknight acting the bitch, getting yourself arrested. So here we are 2 days after it. Let's see how it's being covered in the media because there seems to be silence. I haven't seen anything yet. Chael Sonnen hasn't talked about it. Michael Bisping hasn't talked about it. And what we have is this type of shit. We have Ariel Helwani retweeting Jorge Masvidal's post. Good morning to everyone except those that think that talking about someone's kids is cool. That's fake news, bro. That's fake news. Ariel, you're a shill. You're a shill and a progressive one. And you have bought into the paradigm of fake news. Because Colby never said anything about his kids. He said, bro, you're a bad father. That's it. So here we have Ariel who thinks that he's this respectful MMA journalist retweeting a person who just assaulted someone on the street. But it's okay because the person that he assaulted is against my politics and he's against my cultural stance. Perfectly fine. No discourse, no objectivity. This guy is against the current thing that I support. Go beat him in the face, that's fine. And we can use the excuse of, you don't talk about someone's kids, man. That's what we heard Dana saying. How disappointing and disgusting from Dana.
It's called man code. You either have it or you don't.
There's a man code. Is that what he said? There's a man code. You don't talk about someone's kids. Well, unless you're Conor McGregor. Unless you're Conor McGregor, you can talk about someone's kids, someone's religion, someone's country, someone's father who might have passed away. You can beat old men into the face. You can have alleged sexual assaults coming in left, right, and center. But that's perfectly fine because you don't talk about politics, Conor, because you haven't got a clue. And you bring in a lot of money for the big guy, Dana. That's perfectly fine. You do whatever you got to do. You throw trolleys through windows, smashing women in the face. Perfectly fine. He gets a pass and he gets to come back and get a title shot. Colby, because he supports the first responders, he wears a Donald Trump hat, he carries an American flag and beats the shit out of pretty much everybody. Yeah, there's no place for him on the roster. I don't know what we're going to do with him. He's a bit of an asshole, right? Yeah, you don't break the man code. Conor broke the man code many a time and many other fucking fighters have done it in the past. But Colby gets punished harder than these guys. Think about it. I think like every other societal structure that has fallen foul and fallen victim to this progressive neo-Marxism over the last 6 or 7 years, this cultural split of left and right has now integrated itself into the MMA world, into the MMA roster, and even into the MMA president, Dana White. And you can see it overtly. All you got to do is look how the bias pushes against Colby Covington because of what he believes. Look at the response in the aftermath of what happened with Jorge Masvidal, the bitch, who got his ass kicked last month against Colby Covington and decided to put on a mask, put on a hood, run up behind someone and attack them from behind, then go on social media and brag about it. Let's see how the pundits, let's see how Brendan Schwab, Joe Rogan, Dana White, Michael Bisping, Big John McCarthy, Josh Thompson, Chael Sonnen, let's see how they destroy and call for some sort of reparations against Masvidal, a person who's almost 38 years old, lost 3 fights in a row and pretty much acted like a scumbag this week. Let's see, is he going to get the pushback that he deserves this week? Let's see, are they going to come out and say Colby did nothing wrong? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do that at all. And that's the problem going forward in this inverted world. I back Colby Covington 100%. I think he's a fantastic fighter. I think he showed that over and over again, and he doesn't get the respect he deserves. Masvidal, you're a piece of shit, bro. If you like this video and you'd like to see me talk a little bit more about MMA, hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Cheers.